For our research project, we had the pleasure of getting some time with Vernon of Two Bulls, an app and game development company specializing in augmented reality apps for the app marketplace. Together, we discussed the notions of how gamification and augmented reality have become a staple in the marketplace and how the ideas of these technologies can be applied to health, social, and educational aspects of our daily lives.
So I'm a software developer, but I also care a lot about user experience and how to make applications that either improve people's lives or make them enjoy themselves. So that stems all the way from games to serious applications. Yolcom was really an accumulation of a bunch of different ideas that came out of that, and a lot of them were focused on how do we bring augmented reality to the masses. We did a little bit of a kind of a marketing push with it, and we're lucky enough to get featured on Channel 10 News, and we're on the streets of San Francisco handing out t-shirts to Apple conference attendees. And as a result, I mean, it was a cool concept, and people kind of, as soon as they saw it or they saw their friends playing it, they wanted to download it and have a go of it. So we saw like a lot of downloads, and out of that, since then, really up until this point, we've been featured in one form or another on the App Store. We got Best of the App Store 2012 award from Apple, and also kind of more or less permanently featured in the Made in Australia section of the App Store, which we're very privileged to be in that position. Augmented reality is great because it really breaks down the barriers between technology and reality. So in a normal situation, you've got an app and it's a static experience. The user sits here, the device is here, or the computer's here, the TV's in front of them, and they're interacting through a controller or a touchscreen interface. All of a sudden, the user is very much put into the situation of the experience and can kind of feel it firsthand and interact with it on a much more intimate base. And it's kind of a progression from the controller-based and keyboard and mouse-based experience to touch, which was more intimate. And then augmented reality, I feel, is like the next step where we're utilizing all of these senses with these devices and interacting with the world around you to create a more intimate experience. The world is very much moving into this direction where everything around you is kind of information. Information is really powerful right now. And with technologies like Google Glass and augmented reality applications, it really allows you to consume the information around you in a much more easy way. And also to interact on a social level. A big part of what we do is, or at least a big subset of what we do is definitely kids entertainment. First of all, like I personally have a passion for it, and other people have a passion here for entertaining kids. It's a great space to be in when you put your application, your experience into the hand of a toddler and see their eyes light up when there's a payoff on screen, or when they've repeated a certain behavior and hence have kind of starting to digest and learn it. That's a really rewarding experience. Yeah, I mean, we've actually been getting a lot of inquiries about this recently, and it's actually an area that we've identified that we'd like to move more strongly into. Just a couple of months ago, I spoke at the Bio Melbourne Network meeting, which was a collection of doctors and basically just a bunch of people that were way smarter than me. I think I got up and spoke, and I think I was the only person that wasn't a doctor. So that was a little bit intimidating, but as soon as I started talking, you could see that these people understood that this was the direction it was heading in, which is basically gamification and augmented reality. And both of those are really ways to increase the engagement of the user. So gamification is pretty clear. If you gamify an application, people are going to engage with it more regularly, they're going to enjoy it, they're going to come back, and they're probably going to learn more out of the experience than if it was just boring. Because our brains are geared to work in that manner of positive reinforcement. We learn things through positive reinforcement. And gamification is a great way to bring that across to serious apps. And augmented reality is similar to the stuff I was talking about before about intimate experiences. You make the user interact more directly with their information and with the data on screen. It reduces a lot of the friction, and it's really the way that in a lot of ways, it's the reason that we have doctors in the first place, and we don't just have encyclopedias. It's about that lower friction interaction, to have walk through stuff, guided through things, and explain the process of what's going on. And I think that doctors more and more are starting to use technology as part of that process. Forward adoption of augmented reality, it's going to really start to dig beneath the surface of what's possible with it. I find it just insanely interesting that, are they going to be able to get people to wear these slightly dorky looking glasses? I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is. But I do know that if everyone starts wearing them and that SDK gets powerful enough, the applications they're just going to explode. Like there's going to be so much stuff that's possible, so much ways to improve users' lives, so much way to create more engaging experiences, and so much more ways to have fun. And Google Glass, when I look at it, like the SDK especially, like it's very much like a version 1 at the moment, and it's going to be the coming months and years when they keep adding to it and the adoption increases. That's when it's going to get really interesting. But we're excited because obviously we've been working in the augmented reality and the location-based space for years now, starting all the way back with the Hidden Park, a location-based park game. And so now that this space is heating up, we're kind of really excited to be right at the forefront of it and to push it forward ourselves, or help push it forward as well. Interesting. I go out and speak about gamification a lot, and it's been a very big buzzword of years gone past. And I'm always a little bit anxious because I know there's a lot of negative connotations that go along with gamification. It's immoral. It's not what we should be doing. Blah blah blah. So I actually referred to Jay McGonigal at that point, who was one of the thought leaders of gamification. I was actually lucky enough to see her speak in San Francisco a few months ago, and she's firstly really inspirational and really is pushing the boundaries of how to make games more serious and positive and doing things the right way rather than kind of maybe in the past they've been too oriented on violence and that sort of stuff. But anyway, she has recently kind of distanced herself from the gamification title or label, and now puts her work and her thinking under the label of gameful design, which basically means let's carry across the positive reinforcement, the payoffs, the visual cues, the sound, the excitement, all that sort of stuff, the quest rewards, the progression, the achievements, all that fun, juicy stuff, and let's apply it to non-games. And that's what she means by gameful design, and that's kind of the label that I tend to put it under, so that you kind of sidestep that negative connotation with gamification. So this is Market Garden, and on the surface it's just a casual gardening game where you can tap and harvest your plants and get rewards, albeit it's quite a pretty 3D environment and quite engaging. But this is just the start of the application, because this is where the game is played initially, but you actually plant your garden in the real world on the map. So if we go to the map, we can see here we are in Collingwood. That's my garden, and as I zoom in and out, you can see that garden's actually taking up physical real estate on the map. So I've actually claimed that land, no one can take it from me, and you can see all the other gardens in the area. It's great to go to New York and see the gardens in Central Park, see that someone's placed it on Columbus Circle. So that's the map screen, and you can visit other people's gardens and that sort of stuff. And the other interesting part is the garden finder, which it would be maybe possible to show it here. Is you get into a live camera view. And that's and now I'm inside the garden in augmented reality space, and I can go around, look down at my plants and look up at the trees. But that was a complicated.